Hi everybody, Patrick here from MalafoxTargets.com, links below. This is the tips and troubleshooting video. Today we're going to talk about cleaning the polycarbonate wireless targets, charging the targets, and some troubleshooting tips. So first things first, let's talk about charging these wireless targets. Each smart target comes encased in a strong polycarbonate casing with a button, a power button, which should be turned off for charging. And it comes with a 5-volt 1-amp power adapter, and I'll plug it in. As you can see, the red LED on the board turns on. Now as it charges, that LED will start to dim, and eventually it will turn off when fully charged. When it starts to dim, you should see your battery at about 85 to 90%, or 85 to 99% rather. You can keep it charging at that point, because at that point it's trickle charging, or you can remove it if you'd like, but don't charge until you need to when the battery's down to about 20%. That's when you want to charge it, or even down to 10%. And yeah, so right now it is charging the onboard lithium-ion 3400 milliamp battery. It is a lithium-ion battery, do not remove it. It is in place and it should stay that way. You should never touch it. As you can see, the address on this unit is set to address 2. And yeah, so that's all you need to know about charging the battery. If you leave it for about 3 or 4 hours, it will become fully charged and ready to play. You should not charge it when it's at 70 or 60% or 90% or close to 100%. Charge it when the battery's low, and that will extend the life of the battery itself. This lithium-ion battery should have hundreds of charges in it, but as with any battery, it does have a memory and will die eventually. But a fully charged battery should give you between 14 and 16 hours of gameplay, of continuous gameplay. The LCD may be a bit difficult to read, but when you power on, you hear a beep, and it says MALAFOX Simulations, and the model number, Smart Target. And after that, it will say Main Menu, and it will tell you the battery voltage. It says 4.01 volts and 78%. Now, when it's in this mode, it says awaiting instructions, and that means that it's ready to be communicated with by the hub. If you try to communicate with it while it is in the first state where it introduces itself, it will not communicate. You have to wait about 5 seconds until it says awaiting instructions. So now it's ready to communicate. After being hit over and over again with a high-powered airsoft rifle or pistol, you'll notice that it will get some pockmarks on it. The nice thing is usually you can get those pockmarks off with a damp cloth or Kleenex. And I'm just going to wipe this. You don't want to use a magic eraser because that has an abrasive surface and it will scratch up the surface of your polycarbonate target. But once you're done, take a dry Kleenex, wipe off the leftover residue, and you should have a much cleaner polycarbonate smart target. So if a target has very low battery or is in a non-optimal position, say far away and not within range, or under a power wire or near a furnace or something that's giving off interference, what might happen is you might get intermittent connection with the target. Now this won't happen very often, but let's just say for instance it's scanning for wireless targets. If you don't know what I mean by that, check out previous videos. It'll happen in this video, but this is the last video you should be watching in the entire series if you're considering purchasing this set. When it's scanning for wireless targets, the ones that come back and say, hey, I'm here, are the ones that the hub will be looking for. But let's say you've got 5 targets in play, and only 4 get scanned. It's actually not a big deal. It could be an instance of, it might be an instance that one target is just being a little bit intermittent, or it's got low battery, it's far away, but it might still communicate with the hub when the game is in play. So all targets should be actually turned on, even though it was not scanned. So you can still play the entire game. Don't worry if that happens. If there's a problem during the game where all the targets are hit and one target is just being, it's got low battery or it's in a really bad spot and you just need to move it, you can reset the simulation at any point by pressing any button on the keyboard of the hub when the game is in play. We'll get to that a little later. So I'm going to turn on 4 targets, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'll turn on the other system.
The Wireless MALAFOX Simulation Center. Main menu. Please enter a command into the keypad.
Let's do quick play. Press 1.
Quick play selected. Select simulation.
Simulation 1, straight shooter mode.
Straight shooter mode selected. Enter the number of required hits per target.
Let's just do 1 hit to kill.
Success. Press the red button to start the simulation.
Okay.
Scanning for wireless targets.
So all of these targets will be detected, but let's just wait. Now we'll turn this one on. It needs a few seconds to initiate anyway, so it'll ignore this target. We're just doing a simulation here, simulating a failure. So I see that 4 targets have been talked to by the hub. This one's been ignored.
4 targets detected. Hit all targets to end this simulation. This simulation begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Now what you'll notice is all of them turned on. All of them got the instructions. So let's just say this one was actually on and ready to receive data from the field. It's okay. This one may not matter in the field, but it'll still turn on. And at the end of the simulation, even if you haven't killed this one, you've killed the rest of them, the hub will turn this one off. As when the end of the simulation happens, it sends the reset signal several times just to make sure it catches all of them. So, at this point, kill all the targets. Like this one, they're on the table, so they both got hit there. When I plug my ears, because the siren, I think, is enabled. Oh, I've turned the siren off, I think. And,
simulation complete. Please record your time. Your simulation was completed in 0 minutes and 40.20 seconds. You have set a record for simulation 1. Well done. Main menu. Please enter a command into the keypad.
So, as talked about with previous videos, there is a latency between when the last target is killed and when the hub receives that instruction, and that's because these long-range wireless modules are really awesome, but they are a little bit on the slow side for for communications. They have to send long packets. In any case, so now that we've seen that, let's talk about the reset signal. So I'll press 1 for quick play.
Quick play selected. Select simulation.
Simulation 1.
Straight shooter mode selected. Enter the number of required hits per target.
1.
Success. Press the red button to start the simulation.
Now when a simulation ends, all of the targets should be reset and say main menu awaiting instructions. It should also display the battery voltage. So I'll start the simulation.
Scanning for wireless targets.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 targets detected.
Five targets detected. Hit all targets to end this simulation. This simulation begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
If you find any other malfunction in the field, say a target, you've killed all the targets and one is just misbehaving, and it doesn't happen very often. I have seen it happen, but it is rare. Then what you can do is you can just end the simulation. You don't want to power off, because then nothing will be sent to the targets to disable them. I believe there actually is one on power on that disables all targets, just in case you had to do that. But ideally what you'd want to do is press any button on the keypad to end the simulation prematurely.
System resetting.
And that will send a wireless signal to all of the targets, and as you can see in a second they will all turn off.
The Wireless MALAFOX Simulation Center.
There we go.
Main menu. Please enter a command into the keypad.
And they all go back to the main menu. So let's talk a bit about the coin receptacle. So we've talked about the coin receptacle before in previous videos, but I want to mention this. You don't want to have it, you want to have it mounted. Mounting hardware does come with it, screws and nuts, and you want to have this mounted into a box, and you want to have it straight and flush. You don't want to have it at an angle, because even if you use the correct coin, which is determined by you, it might be returned through the front as opposed to being collected through the back. So you want to have a collection mechanism in the back if you're using paper play mode. You can also choose to have the system without the coin receptacle if you'd like. Incorrect coins will be collected through the front. As long as you have it mounted properly and straight, correct coins should be returned through the back. There we go. Right here. As you can see here, there's a little movable nub and it says replace coin right here. And I've actually got a sample coin in here. So what you want to do is hold it up, remove it. Now it's empty. So let's just pretend this is something other than a Canadian quarter. I'm going to want to, coming through the side, there's a little slot. I'll move it back, slide it in. And now, this is the coin that's going to be returned through the back. All other coins will be returned in the front. The Wireless MALAFOX Simulation Center was designed for indoor use. It can be used outside on a nice day, but keep in mind that these polycarbonate boxes, while designed on their own as airtight, are not airtight anymore because of the charging port and the screws and bolts to mount the smart target within, and the power button. so they are no longer airtight. So humidity will destroy these over time. You want to make sure that it is used in a controlled area, and if you're using it outside, not used on a humid day in an area that might be exposed to humidity or wetness. And yeah, so keep that in mind when you're using your outside targets. If you are using, if you were contemplating purchasing either our wired system or our wireless system, consider for indoor use exclusively. Within a rather large building. The wired version is faster and it has more simulations, whereas this one has a much larger availability for moving targets around. This set was designed for portability, whereas the other unit was designed to have more simulations and much more options. So it really depends on what your application is. If you have any questions, please contact us at MALAFOXtargets.com. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out the other videos because we've got some really great simulations indoor and outdoor. Take care, everybody.